You have greatness in you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. And you, in order to break out of where you are now, it takes everything in you. Everything. You have got to decide, no, I want to do something else. No, find something that you love, not just anything. Find something you love. I love speaking. I love helping people. This is the calling on my life. And I spent time to learn. When you are not willing to learn, you got to go get a job and keep it as long as you can until they let you go, until you are replaced by artificial intelligence. The coronavirus is not the only thing that's eliminating jobs, or until your company closed down because of the effects of the coronavirus and because of the decisions of you can't gather but a limited number of people in a certain given area. That's too precarious. That's too unpredictable. It's better to have something else going for you and not need it than to need it and not have it. No, don't wait for the hammer to drop. Why, Les? Because you can't think. You can't think. When you get fired, you can't think right away. When you get behind on your bills, you can't think right away. If you get 3 months behind your bills, trust me on this, know this, been there, bought the t-shirt. It takes more than 3 months to catch up. I'm not making this up. I'm telling you what I know. When you don't have money, you don't get 31 days out of the month or 30 days. You get 2 weeks out of the month. What do you mean? Let me repeat. When you owe money and you don't have enough money coming in, you don't get 30 days out of the month. What happened to the 30 days? Well, you get 2 weeks. Well, what happened to those other 2 weeks? They're gone. You start saying, didn't I just pay this yesterday? I know I just paid this yesterday. I'm telling you, time moves by faster when you're under pressure, when you're under the gun. That's why you have to be proactive. I want you to put voice in the comment section if you agree with me, if you understand what I'm saying, if you can feel me in your heart, if you don't want to live life cringing and, oh my God, I got knots in my stomach. I don't want to open up my email. I don't want to receive a text saying that my job has been replaced and sent overseas, or they have eliminated my division, or I've been laid off because of the coronavirus. It's the time to be inspired and motivated to be your own boss, to create your own business, to use your ideas and your thinking. You are more talented than you give yourself credit for being. People say necessity. Necessity is the mother of creation. No. Refusing to accept things as they are is the mother of creation. Refusing to put yourself in a vulnerable position where somebody else is controlling your destiny. Refusing to be a part of the journey of the broke. Refusing to be lazy and ignorant of your potential and not having the courage to bet on you. Refusing to recognize the reality that you're made in the likeness and image of God and been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. Refusing to acknowledge that you're more than a conqueror, that you can do all you can do and God will do what you can't do. No, that's not you. You're listening to me. Everything I'm saying is common sense, but not common practice. I've been stuck. I know I know what it feels like. The things I should do, I don't do, and the things I shouldn't do, I do. I know if I had my life to live over again, I could have done more than what I have done thus far. For a long period of my life, if I had to characterize it, I was crazy with a K. With a K. I'm not proud. I'm telling you. Maybe something wrong with me now with this flat top from the 80s. You know what? The afro is the only hair that defies gravity. Everybody else's hair lays down on their head, but the afro, I mean, to have a flat top, come on now, with no glue, no super glue to make it stand up. Oh, behave, hello, whatever. To do something that you love. If you enjoy making people feel good, if you enjoy working with kids, if you enjoy helping people learn how to create a bridge from where they are and to the next greatest version of themselves, if you want to do something that gives your life a feeling of significance, of purpose and meaning, of love, of joy, that you look forward to doing it. You know how many people are stressed out now? Listen, even our children, it's affecting them, the little teeny weenies. It's affecting them. I saw this movie. It's a jaw dropper. It's called, what's it, Social, oh my goodness, it escapes me right now. Social something, it's on Netflix. Just Google it. Then somebody knows. But the social dilemma. You watch that, it will scare you. That's why it's important that you work on you to improve you. We're being programmed over 5,000 advertising hits on our minds every day. And when you look at the algorithms and our telephone and the computer and all the various platforms that are designed to suck us in and to control our behavior, to manipulate us, occupying our minds every day, fighting for territory in our minds every day. This is a different space. This is a different space. You want to be vigilant. Be you not conformed to this world. Be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. You want to unplug from this thing called life. You don't want to be conformed like everybody else. Listening to what everybody else listens to. You monitor your thinking. You monitor. Be proactive in programming your mind, because if you don't program it, trust me on this, it will be programmed. Live life like you mean it. It will be programmed. One sickness, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. I resigned from the Ohio legislature. I just got reelected my third term to go back to Miami to take care of the woman who God took me out of my biological mother's womb, but placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. This has made me proud. Oh, she covered the ground she walked on. That's what the lady from hospice said when she took her last breath, as I held her hand. And what I learned about my mother, the spirit of independence, of believing in yourself. I learned that from her. And she wanted to raise children. She never had any children herself, but she said, I wanted to share my life with children. And a reporter asked her, this is after I got a show called The Les Brown Show with King World. They paid me $5 million to do. They asked her, how did you know you can raise 7 children by yourself? She said, I just believe the Lord will make a way somehow. Les, I don't know how to do what you do, so I didn't either. You've done a lot of things that you didn't know how you would do it. There's a reason we're told to walk by faith and not by sight. People say, well, if I see it, I believe it. No, if you believe it, you see it. Live out of your imagination. Live out of your imagination. Don't judge according to appearances. You have the potential to do more. That's why they say greater is he that in you than he that's in the world. What do you mean by that? You do what you can do to the best of your ability. And God, I know this to be true, will do what you can. Angels will be dispatched to serve you. Doors will be opened that you did not see. But you mess with me. Don't argue for your limitations because you get to keep them. I'm telling you what I know. You want to get fired up about your new future. You want to turn that television off and get moving in the direction of the next greatest version of yourself, because you have greatness in you, and you cannot tap into that greatness operating within your comfort zone. When you're willing to bet on you, when you're willing to become a risk taker, this God said, if you're not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you can't become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? Hello? You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be happy. Not living a stress-filled life. You can't be happy when you're filled with anxiety. Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. No. You want to be focused on creating the next greatest version of you. No, hearing my Father glorified that ye bear much fruit. You are here to do the greater work. No, this is not it for you. This is a new beginning for you. You were born to be happy and successful and prosperous and healthy. You were born for that. And you have to have a spirit of optimism. You have to have a kind of energy that says, it's not over until I win. Watch you want to get motivated? Oh, I'm just so tired. Yeah, whatever. You've done things where you say, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. You weren't. You did what you can do. You got in the position and God did what you could not do. If you feel me in your heart. If you're ready to do something that you love. If you're ready to use your story and the things that you've gone through, the things that you've overcome, and to help people and to make money too. And if you're ready to get your hustle on, nothing works until you work. They told me, oh, Les, you'll never be successful being a motivational speaker. There are over 3,000 members of the National Speakers Association. They're not 3,000 Les Browns. You think I care anything about that? You think I give a fat rat's butt about that? Oh, there are 3,000 members of the National Speakers Association. Well, guess what? None of them Mamie Brown's baby boy. None of them have a flat top like house party, kid and play and I'm kid. Oh, behave. It's not true because I said it, but I said it because it's true. Oh, behave, baby. You make me angry. I have so much fun. It's great to be me. If you love having fun, listen, get around the right people. If you love having fun, get coaching and direction by someone who's doing what it is you want to do and has accomplished a great deal and has a program to teach you how to do it, to shorten your learning curve. Spend more time working to improve yourself. Spend more time working on yourself than your job. I want to talk to you about this place where we are. Sunday is Easter. And this time of the year, it's about new beginnings. Remember, it seemed like it was just yesterday when it was January the first, and we made resolutions, and studies indicate that only 8 out of 100 people kept their resolutions and made the goals and dreams they set for themselves become a reality. But they're 92% that they did not do that. They forgot it as fast as they claimed it. But for those of you that are serious, my message is not for everybody. My message is for that 8%. Those are the people that are serious. He that has shall get, and he that hath not, even that he has shall be taken away. I want to talk to people who are ambitious. I want to talk to people to listen to me that are not willing to settle for life as it is. I want to talk to people who want to live life. It's one thing to survive, but what it takes to live, that requires a different set of skills. So one thing that I'm encouraging you to do, that I'm doing, is I'm taking time to work on me and to get to know more about me. Because if you don't know who you really are, as opposed to the kind of person you were before the world got its hands on you, if you don't know that, and you've bought into the culture that is designed to destroy your sense of self, when you don't have a sense of self, when you don't have a strong identity, that takes away your purpose and the meaning of your life. And that puts you on a path of self-destructive behavior. That's why you see so many young people and you look at it and say, you know what? Aliens do exist and they don't know how to pull their pants up. So as you look at yourself, take the time and ask yourself, as you are living this life that you're living, is this me? Is this working for me? You ever been in a relationship where the relationship was working for the other person, but it wasn't working for you? You were in a relationship with somebody that's always there when they need you, but when you need them, they can't be found. It's a time for self-awareness. It's a time to elevate your relationships and your knowledge and your skills and the value that you bring. New beginnings. We always have a choice. Every day represents something that we can claim and say, I'm going to make the rest of my life the best of my life. Hey, it is true that we have at any moment in our lives, we can change directions. I was upset about something, and my business partner, he said to me, don't get angry, just be decisive. Don't get angry. Somebody betrayed my trust, somebody that I loved and believed in and had their back, and I thought they had mine, and it did not happen that way. Has that ever happened to you? And so I had to rethink the relationships that I have. And I had to ask the question, who can I count on and who should I count out? Because at the end of the day, this thing called life is like an elevator. The higher you go up, you have to stop and let some people off. Who is it in your life, as you just think about it right now, that you need to open the door for and stand there until you get off? So that they don't cramp your style, so that they don't toxify and pollute your mind with their toxic behavior. Yeah, we have to promise ourselves to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We pray as if everything depends upon God, but work as if everything depends upon us. Those are the words of Mary McLeod Bethune. You have something special, a time for new beginnings, to do inventory of yourself, to get access to the unlimited potential that's waiting for you to tap into it. As Dr. Miles Monroe would say, to rob the cemetery of your dreams, of your gifts, of your leadership, of your books, of your music. Yeah, you're here for a reason. There's something that would not be here. You're a missing piece of the puzzle. God needed your presence here at this point in time for our children and our children's children and for generations yet unborn. The time for new beginnings. What a blessing. We're here all because of God's grace and mercy.
I say to you, honor yourself by looking at your life, taking personal inventory, and be honest with yourself. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And decide that you're going to upgrade your environment. Your environment affects you. Your environment, it can change you. Your environment matters. It begins to affect how you see yourself, and how you see yourself will be represented in your thoughts and your actions and the achievements that you make or you don't make. This is a time that requires new skills, new thinking, and a hunger to live your greatest life.
I want you to think about your goals and dreams. What is it you want to do with your life, particularly now? Because what we know is that life is fragile. I was planning not to come out till 2027. And then somebody whispered in my ear, called life. Who said you're going to be here in 2027? I know you want to be. Did you remember Michael Jackson? They spent millions of dollars saying this is it.
That was it.
But it was not the it they had in mind. Only put off for tomorrow the things that you don't mind dying in you today.
Wow.
And I said, I got to come out. I've been in so long. I've been talking to squirrels. Even have a squirrel friend who's taught me squirreling. Which said right then in squirreling, I'm so glad to be here and talk to you about focusing. Because in order to make it now, with all the distractions that's going on, that you have to focus. You have to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort. A lot of people are focused on entertainment. A lot of people have checked out. A lot of people are snapping, having meltdowns in traffic, road rage, in grocery stores, arguing about toilet paper, family members arguing in the bedroom about their relationship, waking up in the morning and said, you know what? I don't want to do life with you anymore. I feel lonely whenever you are around. I'm out of here. And so as we look at ourselves, look at our goals and dreams, one of the most important things we have to do is focus on what gives you a sense of peace. I've been ending relationships that don't bring value to me and that are not peaceful. See, I've come to know that you don't have to help life bring drama. Life will traumatize you by itself. You don't have to augment and complement the process. But there are people who have a propensity for drama, and any little thing can take them and tilt the needle in that direction. No, this is the time you want to focus on peace. If you don't have a peaceful state of mind, if you don't pour into yourself, a person that don't have a sense of peace, they're subject to snap at any time. That's why we're seeing unexplained violence. We see people that's making dumb, stupid decisions that cause them to throw their lives away because of the decisions they make. When anger goes up, ignorance increases and intelligent thinking goes down. And so this is a time that you want to focus on peace, and then you want to focus on this question: am I on course? Is this the best way for me to live my life right now? And you want to focus on your relationships and ask the question: what is this relationship doing to me? Is it an asset or a liability? Is it bringing out the best of me? Is it holding me accountable? Is it creating the next greatest version of myself? Do I feel good when this person is around me? I have a friend that I was telling her, I said, tell me how you feel when your husband comes near you. And she called me, she said, I feel threatened and uncomfortable. I said, you need to get out of there. I said, that's unhealthy. She'd been having a cervical cancer surgery for several years. After she left him, she didn't have any more. There are people who can make you sick. You know, you say, you make me sick? That's real. There's a book I read called Who's the Matter with Me? So you want to focus on the relationships. You want to focus on the environment, because environment, it can determine how you feel about yourself and how you see the world. So I'm saying to you, at this point in time, focus on that which is positive, that can give you a sense of optimism. Focus on the relationships that can empower you, that can hold you accountable. Focus on your strength, so that in the events that are going on right now, so you can turn those adversities into your creativity and your advantage. You have greatness in you, and you have to be hungry for greatness. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to work hard. You have to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort. You have the power, authority, and dominion on living life on your terms. I'm through speaking.
Focus is important.
Yes.
What I love about what you said was when you were talking about the distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you were a kid, how many channels were there on TV?
3.
You had 3 distractions.
Yes.
How many YouTube videos have you watched today?
None.
You watch 30 YouTube videos every morning.
Oh, I thought how many channels.
Oh, yeah. You don't watch TV.
No,
you don't have a television.
Yeah.
We don't watch TV in this household.
No.
You know why?
Because what you look at, what you tune into, what you listen to, you turn into. All right? Yeah. No, what you listen to, what you watch, you turn into. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes. And what has happened as time has grown, as new technologies emerge, guess what? It becomes tougher and tougher to have focus.
Yes.
So that is right. You need to focus on your dreams. That's why we're inviting you to New York on August 14th, if you're going to be there. You need to focus on your family. That's why this is a family affair. If you want to be a part of the first Family of Motivation, our first event since the pandemic. And here's something that's important. You need to focus more on your destiny than you are to your distraction.
That's real.
You know what happens when you focus?
Right.
You tune out the world around you, and you start to identify something. You get laser focused, as Miss Lisa Nichols would say, and then after focus comes faith. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Faith. Faith stands for what, Dad?
Finding answers in the
heart. Yes. What does it mean? Why are you going to focus? Because it's hard to make it today if you don't know how to take control of your own mind. And that's what Les Brown's going to help you to do at the Hungry for Greatness event. How to reclaim your power so that you can tap into the power of faith. How do you become the #1 motivator in the world? How do you have millions of fans, not because of how you shoot a ball or how you dribble or how fast you drive or any type of athlete, but because your words help them to believe in themselves.
And change lives.
You know what, Dad? Right now, coming out of a pandemic when the suicide rate has risen over 14%, when
in the military over 50%.
In the military over 50%, when you can turn on almost any channel and see death and disruption and war and misogyny, it's very rare that you can be a part of an event that boosts your faith. Talk to people about why they need to have faith in themselves.
If you want to achieve your goals, you have to see the value of making a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to feed your faith, as Creflo Dollar would say, and allow your doubts to starve to death. When you look at where we are right now, that most people have lost themselves. This is a time to keep your commitment to your faith in your faith.
Hold on, say that one more time.
Keep your commitment to your faith in your faith.
To me, one of the most important things and the first step in changing lives is to have a program for yourself. When I started on this path, that was what my goal was to change me, given my circumstances. I think that, psychologists say that we create a mental blueprint between the ages of 1 and 5, that between that time, we determine what's available for us and what's not available for us. And so, given my circumstances, being born in an abandoned building on a floor in a poor section of Miami, Florida, I became interested in a path of developing myself. I remember shining the shoes of Mr. Sidursky, this man that my mother worked for, very wealthy on Miami Beach. She cleaned his home and she cooked for the family and kept the children. And he listened to motivational messages. Unbeknownst to me, that was programming my mind, and it created a thirst within me to get on this path. I remember listening to Earl Nightingale, who said, "You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are." And so to me, reading became an out. It became a tool that I used to develop myself. And not just reading for enjoyment, but reading for personal growth, reading to look at those things that I read and to apply them in my lives. And I would read sometimes at night from 60, 100 pages a night, sometimes a whole book. And then I would underline the book and I would think about them, I would memorize them, and then I would apply them. I would try them out. Because one of the things he said, they did a study of some top achievers and leaders around the world, over 3,000, to find out what was the common denominator among them that enabled them to reach their goals. And here's what they did, that 85% of them reached their goals because of their attitude, 15% because of their aptitude. Now, to me, that was big, because I was in special education. I was labeled educable mentally retarded. So I said, whoa, that means I don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. That if I have a winner's attitude, that I've got a shot, that I could make it, that I don't have to live a life of being average. I wanted to live a life of meaning, of purpose. Being adopted, I wanted to do something for my mother. And so by listening to motivational messages and reading on a regular basis, it really taught me the value of using your time to work on yourself, to develop yourself, to really restructure your belief system for what was possible for you. It really expanded my vision of myself. And so to me, that's what it means about mass appeal, because I was working on myself. Then I started sharing it with others, and I noticed a difference in them when I shared with them the things that I was doing, because they saw the difference in me. And it's been said that a career is something you love so much you do it for nothing, but you do it so well that people will pay you to do it. So as I talked with and shared with my friends what I was doing and what was possible for them, I eventually evolved into this life of where I am. And as a result, I carved out a market for myself. And because this is my passion, this is what I've spent the majority of my life doing, I've developed a level of expertise, a level of strength and power and reputation in this area that created a demand for myself.
You've been speaking now, what, 50?
52 years.
52 years speaking. What were some of the early circumstances you had to maneuver early in your career to get you to start building a platform for yourself so people can start picking you out and hearing about you?
Well, when I first saw a infomercial with Tony Robbins, I said, I got a story too. You know, he had this infomercial called Personal Power. And in Gunther Rinker and those guys, they've spent millions of dollars promoting him around the world, that every hour you would see a Tony Robbins infomercial. So I sent them one of my DVDs, and they responded saying, "We got an inspiring story, but you're black."
Dang.
And we don't believe that America's ready for a black
Wow, they straight up
speaker.
said like that.
Straight up. And so I sent them a letter back saying, "Thank you very much for reminding me that I'm black. I never would have known that if you hadn't told me." I said, "I'll see you from the top." And so I decided that we were going to go forward, even though we did not have millions of dollars from an investor to get national and global attention. That part of what we do in training speakers. The goal is to make what you do in terms of your presentation so powerful, so impactful, that you cannot be ignored, that people would want to hear more of what it is that you share. And the word will go out that, hey, I heard this guy or I heard this young lady, and they really impacted my life. And so wow. I just said, I'm coming in this space, and my goal is not to be a player. My goal is to be a dominant player up in here. Take no prisoners and eat the wounded. Yum, 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 yum.
So I'm hearing prejudice and racial bias. I'm hearing exposure because there wasn't a budget to get you out there. So those are the things you had to maneuver and change. What would you say also is some of the things that haven't changed? It's some universal truths to getting your message out there, to leading a movement. What things haven't changed?
The prejudice.
It hasn't changed still.
No, absolutely not. Okay. Well, first of all, that's going to always be with us. Okay. Yeah. What's most important is not focusing on the things that are designed to hold you back and destroy your sense of self.
Here you go.
What's most important is your focus on you. How are you going to deal with this? What am I going to do with this? That's what I'm always asking myself. This requires a new set of skills. How is it that I can become so impactful that a guy will say, you know what? I know he's black, but I don't give a damn about his paint job. He can help us make some money. So to me, life, it's not fair that birds eat worms, but they do. Yeah. So life is not fair, and it's very unfair. And so there are systems that are put in place. I mean, this is the name of the game. You are in a culture that you're treated less than, and you have barriers and various things systematically that are designed to hold you back. Yeah. And so our goal is to focus on the solution, to focus on, I'm going to get through this, having that mindset of being a no matter what person. Yeah. No matter what you put in front of me, I'm going to find a way to get through this. That's the name of the game. Yeah. That's the opportunity. It's something that if we focus on that, we focus on finding the solutions, then other things come out of that. People say opportunity knocks on every door. I don't believe that. I believe that opportunity stands by silently, waiting for you to recognize it. And so I'll never forget, this news host was interviewing me and said, I see the majority of your clients are white. Shouldn't you be talking to black people given their condition? I said, no. He said, why not? I said, black people aren't the ones that's putting systems together to hold people back like me. I said, when you feel inferior to someone, you do everything you can not to have to compete with them. I said, people who look like you need what I got. He turned red as a cherry in a glass of milk. He didn't expect that. I said, come on, man. When you know who you are, you welcome competition. You say, bring it on. Yeah. So everybody, I believe, they have their own stuff that they have to deal with. All of us do. And so we have to constantly realize that life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you don't want will automatically take over. With all the stuff that's going on right now, it's been an unspoken conversation, but then in the last 4 years, they've been emboldened, the people of darkness, saying, we can come out now. It's safe. And so, but that calls for and demands that we step up.
I'm reminded of you getting your first DJ job. With, banging on the door, Mr. Butterball there, and says, I'm ready. He says, we're not hiring. But not only did you eventually get hired, but when it's time for you to step in as a DJ, you already had your intro already prepared and ready to roll.
Yes, absolutely. I teach that it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. But not only was I ready to do that show, when I started working, I became the host of the radio show. I became the music director, the production person, making the commercials, selling commercials. I believe that wherever you go, you want to develop at least a minimum of 4 to 5 competencies. You want to make yourself invaluable to that corporation, that business that you're working in. This is a time that you have to expand or you are expendable. That if you go work for any major corporation right now, they require that you know at least 5 different positions. So if someone does not come in, you can step in there and take over for them.
You're talking about the last, especially the 2 years that we've been through, 4 years. I want to talk about this, especially the 2 years, because a lot of people have been hurt from lockdowns and mandates and whatever case may have been through these last couple of years. A lot of people have been deemed essential, non-essential, restaurants closing because they literally just can't sell food because people aren't coming in.
What do you think has been the greatest skill you've developed over the years? Is it the ability to overcome adversity? Is it the ability to use your words? What is that skill you think that you possess has given you so much greatness?
I think it's a combination of both. One, mental resolve. I think that everybody needs that, because when you have goals and dreams, there will be resistance. An airplane cannot fly without the resistance of air. Walt Disney filed bankruptcy 7 times and had 2 nervous breakdowns. That when you have goals and dreams, the book of life says, think it not strange that you face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulations. So the ability, when you are faced with something, and it's new territory, when they said, you have cancer, those are 3 words no one ever want to hear. And the oncologist, Dr. Alfred Goldson, who was an unusual personality, he said, you have cancer, and it's metastasized to 7 areas of your body, including your spinal cord. I said, can you give me a second opinion? He said, yeah, and you're ugly too. I know you didn't just call me ugly. He said, yes, I did. You ugly as hell. And then, we both were laughing. He said, but you got this. We determine the diagnosis. God in you determines the prognosis. You and God determine that. You got this. What I learned from that enhanced my speaking. When you laugh, the mind shuts down and the heart opens up. I left there with a confident feeling in my heart. I got this. When he spoke it, I felt it at this cellular level. I did not leave there feeling fear. He was so good with making you feel comfortable with whatever you're dealing with, that you are not in denial, you just are defiant. And so when your show, which has changed millions of people's lives, people you never meet, what it does is distract, dispute, and inspire. How we live our lives is a result of the story we believe about ourselves. What you do is distract them from what psychologists call their self-explanatory style. And through the process of your own example, your own vision of yourself, the guests that you have, the interviews that you have, you dismantle their current belief system. Be ye not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You are renewing minds, expanding their vision beyond their indoctrination and mental conditioning. And you ignite their spirit where they decide to create a new chapter in their lives. That's what you do as a speaker and as a host. And people who watch and listen to your program right now in America, before the coronavirus, suicide rate increased by 39%. And children between 5 and 11, it has tripled. How do you decide at 5 to take your life? And now it is soaring, the suicide rate. So
What you do with this program, you're giving people hope. When there's hope in the future, that gives a person power in the present, that they can get through it. They might not know how they're going to do it, but they have the mindset. Robert Schuller said, tough times never last, but tough people do. And so that you share with them a voice of transformation, because, and I share this with speakers that I train, who you are behind the words that you speak are more important than the words. Because had you not gone through what you have gone through and experienced, you would not be able to speak from a place of power. You would not be able to come in and do this program and call this the school of greatness, that you've got greatness in you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. And then affirm and validate people as we are facing this pandemic. It's to be able to say that from a place of power. The spirit of who you are comes through your words, and people feel that when you speak, and they hear it, your sincerity, your genuineness. And that's why your program is popular, because you impact people, because you know a thing or two, because you've seen a thing or two.
I appreciate that, Les. You know, it's interesting you talk about suicide rates increasing. Unfortunately, I was going on a drive to San Francisco over the weekend, taking my girlfriend up the coast of California, and she'd never seen it. Had a beautiful experience. And as we're driving back into Los Angeles, I live in a condo building, a tall condo building. It's probably 35, 40 stories high. And as we pull into the building, and I'm about to park, I see police with a yellow tape and a white tent, and over the kind of drive-in area. And I remember just thinking to myself, there's no way someone jumped off this building. There's no way someone did this. And I asked right away, I go, tell me someone did not jump. And the guy looked at me and he just said, yeah, a couple hours ago. And I go, you're kidding me. And I later found out it was reported in the news. This was yesterday. Yesterday. This just happened. Wow. It kind of shook me up a little bit too. And literally I learned that the person who jumped, who's my building, it was literally right next to my window, a few floors up. He jumped out of, his name is Steve Bing. It's all over the news right now. And this was a very successful businessman who 55 years old, I think, I think it was reported he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. A very successful businessman who is close friends with Bill Clinton, who I saw Clinton made a statement about as well. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since yesterday. I was thinking about it all night. You said it was hard for you to sleep last night from stuff you saw. For me, it was hard for me to sleep last night thinking about the pain and the suffering that people go through inside that we may never know about. And, you know, I was trying to rationalize, like, why would this happen? Was it drugs? Was it depression? Was it, like, I can't reason sometimes why this happens to someone who you think it would never happen to, or someone who had all the things on the outside that seemed to be successful, but for whatever reason, I don't know. And I don't know how to make sense of that type of stuff. Do you know how to make sense of things when you see that?
Well, I had a guy, he wrote me, and I kept this text where he had tied a noose together. He was going to hang himself, had it around his neck, and he was going to get a chair. He's trying to look a place where he could suspend himself and place a rope. And the phone rang. And he had said to himself, God, give me a sign. So with the rope around his neck and holding part of it in his hand, he answered his cell phone, and there was nobody there. And he took that as a sign, and he said in that moment, he was listening to me, and he remembered a statement I made that life is God's gift to us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. And
wow.
He said, he asked himself, why would I throw my life back in God's face? I was talking about the fact that we were chosen, 1 out of 400 million sperm, that you are a masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. And he said, I kept saying to myself, I'm a masterpiece. I'm a piece of the master. And he talked himself back from those suicidal thoughts. He really didn't want to die. He wanted to stop the pain that he was experiencing from the breakup of the relationship, from the loss of his job, from what he felt his life had the rug snatched out from under it. He's among those 40,500,000 people who've lost their jobs in the coronavirus economy. And so that's why what you're doing is so important, because when you go through an experience, you have the school of greatness, not elementary school, high school, college. No one is saying to people, you have greatness in you. And those type of structures, even in church. And so the reason that I advance with that, the Book of Life says, greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. That you have greatness within you. That when Mr. Leroy Washington, when I was so captivated by this man's oratorical skills, he was a speech and drama teacher, and he asked me to do something, you know the story. He wanted me to go before him and read a script really before the class. And I said, sir, I can't do that. I'm not one of your students. And he said, do what I'm asking you to do anyhow. I said, I can't, sir. And the other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. He's got a twin brother, Wesley. Wesley is smart. He's DT. And he asked, what's DT? He's the dumb one. And I said, I am, sir. And he said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And he did that. I was startled, because my mother said, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. But words can hurt you, and very deeply. And when he said that, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. I remember going to my next class, and between classes, I kept saying that to myself. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. As I was going home, at what they think about me, I don't have to be that. It's not what they called me, it's what I answer to and what I call myself.
Dang.
That was an interrupting moment.
Wow.
That's how the program is it's a disruptor, more powerful than Corona.
Ooh, I always love hearing that story. That story never gets old for me.
Yeah.
And how did you learn to overcome the opinions of others, but I think more importantly, the opinion of yourself? Because if we have the program, we have, I am the dumb twin. Yes, sir. I am learning disabilities. I am this. How did you personally overcome your own biggest enemy?
He was a voracious reader, and he gave me a book, James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. That little pamphlet is a powerful little pamphlet. I've read it a lot. And The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. I read that over and over again, and other motivational books, Secret of the Ages by Robert Collier. And so reading those, he said, if you want to become successful, number one, develop your mind. And he was a fan of Earl Nightingale, that you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. The strangest secret in the world. I've listened to that so many times, I've wore it out. And then the other thing he said, develop your mind. Next thing he said, practice OQP, only quality people. Surround yourself with people that you can learn from, people that have more than you, people that will help you to grow mentally and emotionally and financially and spiritually. And the next thing he said, which is the master key to opening up new worlds for you, is your ability to communicate. Because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. And I believed him, and I followed that. I never forget, when I was in Poland, and I was in this stadium, and I saw my name up, and people started chanting, when they saw me coming through the tunnel. And I said, Mr. Washington, this one is for you, sir. You know, he's gone. He's been gone. I eulogized him. I said, I'm gonna make you proud today, because it was my first time speaking in Poland, you know. And so, but I so admired him. I've never known my father or birth mother, but that the ability to connect with people that are strangers to you and can create a shift in their lives and how they see themselves, to have that sacred opportunity to share your story and distract, dispute, and inspire them to realize, as the play Lion King, Simba, you are more than that which you have become. That's what you do every day, up in here, up in here.
I remember last time we talked, you said you wanted to really leave a legacy by teaching other people how to speak and communicate better. And you were creating a select, smaller group, I think. It was either 50 or 100 people that you wanted to train and speak. Are you still doing that? Because I had a friend who was going through the program with you or who hired you, my buddy Judd. So I didn't know.
Oh, I know Judd. That's my dude. That's my brother from another mother.
Exactly.
Yes, man, from Australia. Yeah. Yes, I'm training, but I've had to increase that number. I do intense one-on-one training, but I'm selective about working with a lot of people right now. But we do it virtually now. I can do it more virtually because I'm 75. So I cannot afford with underlying issues of diabetes and cancer. And 75, if you show up at the hospital, they'll push you in a coat over there and say, no, you about to leave here anyhow. So we're not going to waste any medicine on you.
Wow.
So I stayed out of hospital. I'll tell you how bad it is, Louis. I'm upstairs by myself, right? I sneezed. And man, I broke out and I started running downstairs. I said, wait a minute. That was my sneeze. So I came back upstairs and I still started spraying the lights off. I called my daughter. I said, I think I'm having a meltdown. I want to go out the house. She said, no, you can't go anywhere other than Walgreens and Publix, and we will drive you there. You don't need to be behind the wheel. I said, I'm not that old, so I'm being very, very disciplined and keeping myself out of harm's way.
That's good. That's good.
Keep my mask.
That's good.
Doing all the stuff that we need to do. Common sense.